Among Knicks fans, there has been a debate about who should be the fifth starter with new head coach Mike Brown. There are a couple options. They could stick with Josh Hart, but has the lineup of Brunson, Mikal, Hart, OG, and Towns been overexposed? Do they need a change to reach the next level? Personally, I believe that's the case. The way the Knicks used Josh Hart last season was bizarre. They treated him like LeBron freaking James. He's definitely one of those role players that can have a star level impact when he's playing at his best with his rebounding hustle and playmaking ability. But my goodness, his floor and his bad side can also tank lineups any given night. And a big problem, and honestly probably the main reason why Thibs got fired, was no matter what version of Josh Hart, the Knicks rode his wave 24/7. I think he should be managed like Alex Caruso. Thunder played him 20 minutes a night during the regular season. He wasn't a guarantee to play 30. He did if he was cooking, but they really saved him for the playoffs. They let him loose and upped his minutes and playing time. As a result, he had ample energy the whole run when it mattered most. Meanwhile, the Knicks were playing Josh Hart 35 plus minutes per game during the regular season and postseason, no matter how he was playing. I wonder why his production fell off a cliff as the postseason went on. And the starting five with Josh Hart offensively thrived. 120.2 offensive rating in 940 regular season minutes. The only offense that produced better was the Cavaliers. Unfortunately, the defense was the opposite. 117.1 defensive rating, which puts them as the 25th ranked defense, one of the worst in the entire NBA. And then during the postseason, what carried this group was gone. They were posting a disturbing 110.9 offensive rating. That would be bottom half among teams during the postseason. Being over-reliant on Jalen Brunson, but also teams not respecting Josh Hart on the perimeter played a big part in their drop-off, along with other stuff. On top of that, the defense once again continued to struggle with this group, just like the regular season, ranking among the bottom half again. This was a recipe for disaster, considering this lineup played 335 minutes, aka pretty much all the time. For example, the second most used lineup only played 65 minutes during the postseason. Let's go over another option. Tons of Knicks fans are calling for Miles McBride to be let loose. So it turns out the four-man lineup of McBride, OG, Bridges, and Jalen Brunson played 207 minutes together. They had a plus 13.2 net rating, 118.3 offensive rating, 105.1 defensive rating. Unfortunately, those four with Karl-Anthony Towns, the sample size is just extremely small. Only 41 minutes during the regular season. So personally, I don't believe you can take the numbers too serious. They were killing it offensively, but the defense was struggling. Now, starting McBride over Josh Hart, you're clearly losing rebounding. Josh Hart was actually the 9th best defensive rebounder in the NBA last season. And of course, that trends to offensive rebounding as well. That's the main weakness if you start McBride over Hart. However, you're getting a better defender. He grades better in pretty much every category, especially ball screen navigation. A+ on Basketball Index for McBride. That's ranked 7th in the entire NBA. And then, of course, on the other end of the floor, he's respected off the ball. I think you can get away with Josh Hart offensively in the regular season, but in the NBA playoffs, next to your star players, he's going to shrink that floor. Miles McBride does the opposite. He grades A for off-ball gravity and A- for overall gravity, and of course, he's a great three-point shooter. Meanwhile, Josh Hart, C+ for off-ball gravity. Teams really don't respect him. In theory, that should make your starting lineup more dynamic offensively and defensively. The problem is, you still got Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns on the floor. For example, the three-man lineup of Brunson, Towns, and McBride played 289 minutes together last regular season. Really great offensively, 116.1 defensive rating, once again a bottom half defense. So I think inserting McBride into the starting unit is a better option than Josh Hart, especially when it comes to playoff basketball. However, I don't think that's going to be a solution defensively, unless both Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns step up their game defensively. And maybe McBride is the answer to that, because think about it. Since he can avoid ball screens, he's one of the best at that. That's going to put Brunson in less switching situations because McBride can eliminate that screen. That should also help Karl-Anthony Towns in pick and roll coverage. But based on last season, that wasn't the case. So let's move on to the last option, who honestly, I believe might be the best option, aka Mitchell Robinson. I mean, his impact last season when he came back from injury was insane. However, the question is, do you believe that Mitchell Robinson can play an entire regular season staying relatively healthy as a starter, playing starter minutes, and having enough in the tank for the playoffs, but at the same time being on the court for the playoffs? Last season, he only played 17 minutes a game for 17 games. Then in the playoffs, it was raised to 20 minutes per game. And we know Mike Brown has been talking about wanting to play faster. I truly don't think it's worth the risk. I don't really think Mitchell Robinson's body can handle consistent starter minutes. I think he's best served in a bench role. However, it's clear the Knicks were at their best as a two-way basketball team when Mitchell Robinson was on the floor. During the regular season, he played 290 minutes, and they operated as a top 5 offense in those minutes and a top 10 defense. And I also think Mitchell Robinson and Karl-Anthony Towns as a front court duo is very matchup dependent. Against faster, more athletic teams, they could get exposed. So if it were up to me, I would most likely start Miles McBride because I think they need a floor spacer to help their offense. I think towards the back half end of the regular season and into the playoffs, teams really took advantage of Josh Hart's inconsistent shooting. And also, I think the duo of Mikal Bridges and OG are more dynamic and explosive defensively next to Miles McBride than Josh Hart. But ultimately, if they want to be more consistent as a group defensively, I think they're going to need more minutes from Mitchell Robinson because he is literally a top 5 rim protector in this league. But also, Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns as a duo on that end of the floor just have to be better. If they're the same as last season, you're going to see inconsistency no matter who's on the floor with them. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on this season. I want to hear your thoughts below, though. Who would you start? But yeah, that's all I got. If you enjoyed, remember to leave a like and subscribe. And most importantly, have yourself a great day and check out my other videos.